Imagine a world where the dead return. But not in the form of zombies, but just to continue his interrupted life. But who have they become? And why did you come back? We're going to find out now. A lot of people in light clothes are leaving the cemetery in a small French town. They move very slowly and look a little confused. There are people of different ages among them, but most of them are the elderly. However, they all look quite healthy, despite some lethargy. And there are a lot of such people. The mayor of the city is holding an urgent meeting. The fact is that all these people were buried, but for unknown reasons they came back to life. It happened all over France. In 2 hours, about 70 million people left the cemetery. There are about 13,000 such people in their town. All of them have passed away in the last 10 years. Zombie uprisings? Not at all. All those who have returned are calmly returning back. They didn't turn into monsters. Many residents of the city recognize their relatives and friends among them. The returned people are placed in special centers to identify them and understand what to do with them next. They are given basic necessities and treated as if they were refugees. The city council, headed by the mayor, wants to bring these people back to normal life. But first you need to understand how well they have preserved their identity. Ishan and Veronique come to one of the centers to pick up their son, 6-year-old Sylvain. This boy is also one of the returned ones. There are a lot of people in the center who came here for their relatives. The problem is that they don't show much emotion and look completely detached. Their son is brought to Ishan and Veronique. Sylvain's appearance has not changed at all, but he looks very serious and even sad. The mayor of the city meets his returned wife, Martha. The old lady says a few affectionate words to him and gently strokes his cheek. A woman named Rochelle lost her husband, Matthew, 2 years ago. She understands that her lover has also returned, but she is still afraid to meet him. The center's staff provides therapy for the people who have been left behind and puts them to bed. However, many of them suffer from insomnia and cannot sleep. A new day is coming. Ishan tells Rochelle that he and his wife took little Sylvain home. He was able to find his room quickly and even played a bit, although he hardly spoke at the same time. Bringing returned people back to life creates a lot of problems. First, we need to create new jobs. These people are slow and silent, which means they won't be very productive. In addition, most of the returned people are retired. How can we provide for them all? New, or rather, old residents of the city are suffering from symptoms similar to severe concussion. These include lethargy, weakness, disorientation, sleep problems, and even sleepwalking. After returning, Matthew gets a position at his old job. He tries to fulfill his duties, but it soon becomes clear. A man is capable of solving only the simplest tasks. He cannot spontaneously solve problems, plan, or propose new ideas. Returning home, Rochelle notices little Sylvain in the bushes. The boy looks very sad. His mom picks him up soon after. It turns out that he ran away from other children. It is difficult for a boy to communicate with his peers, because he is too slow and does not keep up with their active games. Soon, the father picks up his son and shows him their dog. It turns out that 4 years have passed since Sylvain's death, but the dog still hasn't forgotten him. The military puts a small group of returned people on a bus. These are pensioners who have not yet found a place in society. Many of these people wander aimlessly around the city, looking for familiar places and do not sleep at night. Surprisingly, those who have returned are in excellent physical shape. They are immune to infections. The fact is that their body temperature is 5 degrees below normal. Returning people are constantly sedated so that they do not wander at night. Ampoules with the same sedative are given to the military for the possibility of controlling and neutralizing particularly violent people. It soon becomes clear. The returned people only pretend to be asleep, but in fact they never sleep. Every night, Matthew leaves home, wanders around the city, returns to work and sits in his office. It's pretty weird. But Matthew is not sitting there alone. Other returned people join him. They are actively discussing something and look much more alive than during the day. All their strange symptoms, such as silence and lethargy, disappear completely. A doctor named Guard comes to the conclusion that the returned people have a different consciousness. This means that they are different from their former selves. After another day at work, Rochelle notices Matthew. She goes home, and the man follows him in silence. They are being watched by Dr. Guard. Matthew behaves as if nothing had happened. He offers his wife dinner and a walk. Rochelle tries to ignore him. The mayor arranges for his returned wife to have a romantic date with relatives. Unfortunately, Martha has absolutely no appetite in the evenings. She looks thoughtfully into the distance, and then gets up and starts wandering around the garden. Martha suggests that her husband go on vacation. The mayor refuses, and his wife is very offended. Rochelle talks to Matthew. The woman realizes that she still loves him, so after some hesitation, she spends the night with him. Dr. Guard watches them with concern and curiosity. Due to the difference in body temperature, scientists are developing a special differentiation technique. With the help of a thermal camera, it is possible to distinguish a living person from a returned one. Such cameras were attached to balloons and lifted into the sky to conduct surveillance. It turns out that absolutely all the returned people walk about 15 kilometers every day, and at night they meet at regular meetings. Rochelle and Matthew are relaxing by the lake. A woman complains to her husband about her difficult job. She notices that her lover almost never closes his eyes. He can only blink. Matthew complains that he is too hot and invites his wife to swim. Dr. Guard approaches Matthew and Rochelle. He says he is very happy for them and wishes them family happiness. However, his words sound fake. Rochelle can't sleep at night. She notices that there is someone near her house. This is Dr. Guard. The man admits that he is watching them because he is worried about her mental state. Rochelle asks the doctor to leave their family alone. They're fine. Matthew offers his boss his new project. It is connected with the construction of some tunnels. His boss immediately fires him. And Matthew transfers to a new low-skilled job. At night, the man secretly leaves the house and goes to his old office. Dr. Guard is watching him. He eavesdrops on Matthew's conversation with the others who have returned. It turns out that they are discussing some kind of path. However, it is unclear exactly where they are going. Selvin has been knocking on the door for over an hour, trying to leave the house. But his parents won't let him go. Ishan and Veronique realize that they will have to teach their son separately from other children. Because he scares others and doesn't know how to be friends with his peers. Veronica wants to give her son a sedative. But Ishan doesn't let her do that. He doesn't want to turn Selvin into a weak-willed puppet. Martha leaves the house in the middle of the night, too. She takes a high chair to climb over a high fence. The mayor notices his wife and tries to stop her. He locks her in the bedroom. The mayor tells Rochelle about it. The woman replies that he needs to let his wife go. Just like she lets Matthew go at night. Matthew himself recalls some moments from his past. On the day of his death, he and his wife had a bit of a fight. But the man really wanted to apologize to her. He got in the car to return to Rochelle, but got into a car accident. Rochelle visits Dr. Guard and looks through the notes made immediately after Matthew's return. She wants to help her lover. Dr. Guard replies that he will never be the same. He doesn't even realize that he's been gone for 2 years. Rochelle gets nervous and runs away. She returns home, but Matthew has disappeared again. Martha wakes up in the middle of the night and says it's time for her to leave. The mayor tries to stop his wife, but she asks the man to give up and accept her choice, and then runs away. The returned people are heading to the territory of the abandoned factory. The guard tries to drive them away, but everything is not going according to plan. It turns out that the surviving people planted explosives in the city. When there are many explosions, they take advantage of the general panic and head for the network of underground tunnels that Matthew mentioned earlier. Surprisingly, in the process of mass sabotage, not a single living inhabitant of the city receives any damage, even minimal. It seems our rebels don't want to hurt anyone. But what do they need then? They definitely look like zombies now. The mayor finds his wife among the crowd of those who have returned and puts her in the car to take her home. The other returned ones block his way. Martha invites her husband to go with them and asks him not to resist. The man has a heart attack, and those who return, meanwhile, take turns going down into the tunnels. The news reports that there were no casualties as a result of a series of explosions, but a curfew was imposed in the city. Ishan and Veronique don't want to let their son go, but the boy runs away anyway. Despite falling from a great height, he gets up and leaves with the others who have returned. The military is appearing in the city. They are ordered to solve this problem and allowed to use force. They use a special substance that puts all returned people into a deep coma. At some point, Matthew turns around and heads back to his house. He tells his beloved about the last day in his life. They had a fight and left for work. Matthew returned home that evening, but Rochelle was nowhere to be found. He got into the car and went in search of his beloved. Matthew was nervous and driving too fast, so he got into a car accident. Matthew goes back into the tunnels, and Rochelle follows him. She goes downstairs too, but soon realizes that she can't go any further. A woman with tears in her eyes kisses her lover and watches him disappear into the darkness. After that, Rochelle comes back. All the returned people are lying on the ground, immersed in a deep coma. The military collects them and takes them away. They bring them back to the cemetery from where they came, and lower each person to his own grave. Soon, all the bodies slowly disappear.